So
If we,
I want to ask you to say this a little differently, Gareth, because
sure.
most of our audience are real estate photographers. They will not have worked with Revit, or even SketchUp. But the key thing for them to know is if they're working with an architect, that what are the words or language that you would like to say to the photographer about how to get the 360s out of Revit, SketchUp, etc. What is it that you need to go to the next step?
So at the very least, you just need to render the 360s, and you can upload them to a tour just like 360s that you photographed, and our team will process them and build a tour. With Revit, and if you want to go a little bit further, you also have an opportunity to actually bring the geometry from the architectural model as well. And so here you can see we've actually, I don't know if you can see the lines, but we actually got the mesh geometry from Revit. So we actually have the architectural model, which is obviously very low resolution. And then we have the beauty pass and high quality rendered images, which we're able to combine together. So I'll say that again. At the minimum, all you need to be able to do is render 360 images. And I know you can do it with SketchUp. I know you can do it with 3D Max. I know you can do it with Blender. I know you can do it with Revit. In Revit's case, you have to use the cloud renderer to do 360s, but it's perfectly fine. And all you need to do at a minimum is to be able to upload those to Metareal. If you want to go further, as we're doing in this case, you can actually upload the mesh as well, and you can align the 360s with the mesh. In the case of Revit, we have the ability to export the panorama locations relative to the mesh so that there isn't even any alignment to do. It's all done for you when you open the scene. And so
I kind of like to say that slightly different, which is if you're a real estate photographer and you're working with an architect, the architect may be having a conversation with you about shooting the space after it's totally built. The key thing to know is the architect is pre-visualizing the space, and you can create a virtual tour for, let's call it a synthetic environment, pre-built, doesn't exist. All you need to do is ask the architect to say, hey, just download the 360s, export the 360s from your CAD program, and we'll take it from there.
absolutely
That's
right.
probably the simplest and easiest.
Yeah,
Now, if there's an architect that's watching today's show, then you totally get it that Gareth is describing some extra features along with a Metareal stage plugin for Revit that not only enables you to export the 360s, but export it with the geometry that makes the next step a little bit more precise and easier workflow for everyone. But for the photographer standpoint, because we don't want to lose the photographer with their eyes glazed over, go, oh my gosh, this I can't imagine, giving them credentials to, hook up to their Revit file and then export, and then I'm not sure what I'm asking for. So again, for a photographer, just tell the architect, easy peasy lemon squeezy, just export the 360s out of your CAD file. That's all I need. We can take it from there.
Yeah. And there's the potential, obviously, with the variants that you could have a tour that has photographic 360s of how the location is now, and then have a variant that's the remodeled version that's the pre-visualization, and actually be able to compare them side by side using the variants workflow we just looked at. I don't have an example of that to show you.
I just not necessary to show an example, but I would just say I can't overemphasize how important this ability is, because it opens up the possibilities of showing before, after, before it's built, how it looks virtually staged, what's a side-by-side comparison look like.